All right, we're gonna be talking about underwater content in Guild Wars 2 and just kind of the tragedy of it, man. It's been a huge tragedy because underwater content was a relative focus on the original game. There was a lot of underwater content. Guild Wars really tried to bring that in and trying to make it good. Because up until that point, underwater content was notoriously shitted on. I think it might have been in Cataclysm or something for World of Warcraft. They had an entire zone underwater, and that ended up being one of the most hated, if not the most hated zones of all time. I think it was before Guild Wars 2 released, it did something like that. I think it was in Cataclysm, or it was. I mean, Cataclysm makes the most sense for me for that to be the thing, because, the whole fucking place got screwed over, and some things probably got, like, sunk or whatever. So, like, an entire location before would be sunk or some shit. I don't know. That's just what makes the most sense. I don't really remember exactly what the hell it is because I didn't play it back then. I started in Legion, which is like a hilarious time to start because it's so goddamn late. But yeah, so I think there's two major issues with underwater content. And if they were to fix these, I think they could easily do underwater content going forward. And I actually think that a lot of people would really, really enjoy it. And I guess maybe throw in a third optional thing here as well, which would be the movement speed. A lot of people have issues with the movement speed, it seems like. Personally, I've got no fucking issue with it. I don't really care. It's not a big deal to me at all. But I guess some people it is, so, there's that. So the biggest point of contention here that really sucks and it has never been addressed and actually has continuously happened even with new stuff coming out is certain skills and traits do not work underwater. Full on skills and even elite skills do not work. A select amount, of course, but it's a good amount. It's a lot of them. There's from my memory, there's like the engineer turrets. Some of them don't work. I think it might have been the turrets. I don't really remember, but there were a lot of skills, like the elite skills for engineer. You could only use like fucking two. It was like the tornado thing, and then the turrets, which they were like different turrets, which was cool to fit underwater better. But to me, it was just like, what the fuck? Like, why are we not going through and designing everything to work underwater? Like, why even bother doing underwater content if you're not gonna make your core build work under there? That just doesn't make any fucking sense. So I think if we were to take a look at that and somehow get it to work, a more recent example of this will be the Mechanist and how they got completely shafted for underwater content. So essentially, the Mechanist, as we know, the main mechanic, is basically stealing from the Ranger and making it way, way better, and basically fucking over all Ranger players. What the hell, Rainette? For fuck's sake, can we get something like that? We're the original pet class, for fuck's sake. Anyway, saltiness aside, you get a mech, right? And so part of me kind of feels like it might have been like a size issue, but I mean, there's no way that was the case, right? Because it was like, just make it a mini mech underwater and you're good. But the big thing with that is that you don't get the mech underwater. The whole thing around your elite spec is just straight up doesn't work underwater. I think this is the most major example there is of underwater content just being half-baked. Yeah, it straight up does not work. Instead, you get a little ability you could press every like 20 seconds or something, which is fucking ridiculous. It should be way more often. It should be like every 5 seconds or something, man. It should be way more often than it is. If you're going to replace the entire mechanic of the elite spec, including the fucking tool belt, and replace it with the fucking bombardment ability where the mech, the idea is that the mech is like above the water, right? And it's like raining down hell into the water, which sounds cool, but it ends up being kind of lame, and it's on a really long cooldown. I think it was like 15 or 20 seconds or something like that. Yeah, it fucking blows. So give us a mini mech underwater. Ranger pets, there are certain underwater pets for Ranger, and even specific underwater pets that only work underwater. They went that far in the original game. That are perfectly fine. They don't have like pathing issues. They work underwater. So to me, it can't be like there's no fucking way it's an AI issue, man. There's no way. I don't know. It really bothers me how they have this aspect of the game and they make new stuff and they don't bother doing stuff with the old shit, like the underwater content, and that bothers the hell out of me. And it still bothers me to this fucking day that they've never ever addressed the traits and the skills that don't work underwater. It's actually fucking crazy, and instead they've actually continuously added to the issue, which is crazy in itself as well. So the second thing here, which is the big one for me personally, is the gear aspect of this, right? So there's actually completely separate gear you need to get for underwater content. I think you can see that, you know, just on face value, why this is a big deal and why it sucks. You know, underwater gear in general does not have even close to the accessibility factor of just easily getting it that you know, you would see with fucking just regular weapons and stuff, you know. To me at least, like the Aqua Breather, I don't even think you can get an exotic one off the trading post. I think, isn't it just like rare ones? The Aqua Breather in itself is fucking stupid. So what is my personal idea of this? So my personal idea, get rid of the Aqua Breather completely. Maybe just have it be a cosmetic, or just say fuck it, let us breathe underwater. I don't give a shit. And then for the weapons themselves, right? So like the spear, the trident, the harpoon gun, stuff like that. Make it so it's no longer an actual... You've got to be fucking shitting me, dude. My headset just turned off right when I was talking. That ruined my flow, man. What the fuck? Make it so it's not an actual, like, weapon. In terms of, like, if you were to compare it to, like, a greatsword or a longbow or whatever on other classes, that it's, like, something you have to earn or whatever. Just make it so it's just, like, a blank legendary item, right? But not legendary, but functions like a legendary in that you could select all the stats you want, you could put the runes on it. You don't have to worry about getting a separate thing for it. You just select what you want. That way the next time you go underwater, you're good. Alright, and the rest of your gear counts. The agony infusions from your other shit counts. You can put in an agony infusion on there if you want. Alright, fuck it! Do that. That's a huge issue I have, is having to worry about other gear for your underwater stuff on every character as well, which is like fucking crazy. Most of you get. Isn't there like a legendary Aqua Breather and shit and stuff like that? Now, am I saying that the legendaries are going to be completely, you know, fucked on that? If you did like a legendary, you know, spear or whatever the fuck, then you're screwed. No, I say that we just make them, you know, you could use skins and shit on them, all right, and just make it this basic bitch trident that looks just basic as it possibly can be, that you get right off the bat, and that scales with your level over time. So, you know, you completely get rid of the reward pool from you know, from the leveling and stuff, where you get underwater gear and you're like, oh well, fuck, that sucks. So I got underwater gear, I didn't get land gear, you know. And you can get rid of a lot of that and just make it so when you unlock underwater gear and shit, it's just, hey, here's a spear gun or whatever the fuck, and you could just put it on, and you know, you just select the stats you want and shit, and you're good. All right. That's my personal solution to it. I know some people may not like it, but for me, with how underwater content has been treated and how it's been, you know, damn near 12 years now since the game came out, I say fuck it. Why not? Why not, dude? Why not do something at least? You know, because a lot of people hate this aspect of the game, and I think it is well worth it to give it a look and to actually try something with it, because to me at least, you know, I started playing the game 4 years ago, like damn near, I think in like April of 2020, but to me at least, it seems like underwater content really has not been fucked with at all since the launch of the game. We've had things like the skimmer being able to go underwater, which is cool, but other than that, it really hasn't been fucked with too much, and I say now is the time we fuck with it. I think End of Dragons would have been a great time to do it, but screw it. Why not? Why not go into this more? Why not lean into it? You guys are doing yearly expansions now, okay? We could at least fuck around with it a little bit and what all the new zones, right? If it doesn't work out, well then shit. But you know, at least try, man. At least give it a fucking shot. And yeah, that's the video. What a stupid video.